and productive people. Vietnam now is becoming a manufacturing hub in Southeast Asia. And Vietnam, for the last 5 years, attracting more, technological, advanced, and higher value-added manufacturer in automotive, in metal processing, in consumer electronics, such as Bosch, Intel, Samsung, Microsoft, and these days we hear more about Apple and their, supply chain, global supply chain movement. Figures show in the 3 designated high-tech park in Vietnam, which is Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, and Danang. In Ho Chi Minh City, we have Saigon High-Tech Park with around 156 investment project with around 7.1 billion USD for registered capital. And in Hanoi, we have around 56 investment project with a registered value in capital is around 89,300 billion Vietnam dollars. Again.
So, can you hear us or can you not? Aha, yeah, okay, I can now hear my voice. Oh, okay, continue, please.
Yeah. So, okay, I just continue with some of the figures highlight in our 3 designated high-tech park in Vietnam, Saigon, Hanoi, and Danang. So is around like 7.1 billion USD for Saigon High-Tech Park with around 156 in project. In Danang itself, it's just around 25 projects with over 625 million USD for the capital investment. So imagining that you are a new investor and you want to, has wanted to find out the opportunity to set up a factory in Vietnam, what should you do? So our webinar today is put you in the central role to walk you through the journey and help you to determine whether Vietnam is a suitable location for high-tech manufacturing, whether you should join the boom and position yourself in the country. So no one could be more suitable to tell us about the general insight into infrastructure, into the policy and labor force in Vietnam. So I'd like to introduce you, Chị Phuong from, Director of Investment Promotion Agency, IPA Danang. So hello, Chị Phuong. So Chị Phuong, she has involved in inbound investment and has helped a lot of foreign investors for over 25 years. As old as her first son, 25 years. So Chị Phuong,
hello.
Welcome you to our webinar.
So I'd like to.
Chị Phuong, can you
say
as well?
good afternoon. Yeah.
So
we unmuted you already. You need to unmute yourself.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, so I would like to tell you about Danang City.
Oh, Chị Phuong, we still cannot hear you. People still hear us, but we can see your presentation.
Can you hear me?
So everyone sees the presentation.
Yeah, can you hear me?
So now we still need Phuong to explain the presentation for us.
Hello, everybody. You know,
Yes, I
many
can hear
people,
you, chị Phương.
yeah, many people know about Vietnam. They know many people know about Ho Chi Minh City in Hanoi.
Perfect now.
But today, I'd like to tell you the story of Danang City. It's located in central Vietnam, and at the same place we have the Danang High Tech Park. It's one of the 3 high tech parks in Vietnam. It's considered as a national high tech parks, different from the district or the provincial national provincial high tech park. And you know, I think that the function of the high tech park in Vietnam the same as the high tech park in overseas. Like they have the R&D, application of high technology, incubation of high-tech enterprises, training high-tech manpower, etc. And it has a lot of zoning, depending on the functions like that, in which we also have residential areas and bonded warehouses. So in Vietnam now we have more than 400 industrial parks, but only 3 national high-tech parks. So what is the difference between the high-tech park and the industrial parks? The first is investment incentives. In the high-tech park, we have optimum investment incentive for manufacturer sectors. For example, the corporate income tax of 10% may up to 30 years. And the land rental will be exempted for the whole project life up to 50 years. But how can we relocate our facility in the high-tech park? The first, we have to meet the requirement on the prioritized high technology approved by the Prime Ministers. The second, the total expenses for R&D activities in Vietnam much more than 5% of annual turnover of the project, and at least 5% of total employees participating in R&D hold a university degree or higher. Now I'd like to talk more about Danang High Tech Park. The total land area is about 1,100 hectares, and of which 60% is already for rent. And the high-tech park in Danang is planned as a national science park with a lot of functions, in which most of the land are reserved for manufacturing. It also has incubators and R&D center, training center, etc. And especially for the residential areas for experts and workers there. So what kind of industry should be located in the high-tech park of Danang City? The first is the ICT. The second is new energy, new materials. The third is automation and precision mechanics. The fourth is environmental technology. Next is biotech. And the last one is microelectronics and optoelectronics. And of course, the supporting industry for this kind of 6 groups, high-tech, also for this. And if you look at the web, you can see, if you look at the screen, you can see the cost of investment in Danang High-Tech Park is rational. The power, water supply, the price is the same as the others, at the standard price of Vietnam. The investment rate, you should note in the investment rate, we encourage The investment rate into the high-tech park of Danang is about $15 million per hectare of land. And your project is meet the requirement to locate in the industrial park in a high-tech park. You can enjoy a lot of appealing investment incentives.
Sorry, I don't see your screen sharing and there are a lot of around.
Will it be expecting?
Chị Phuong ơi, chị Phuong share lại cái slide. Madam Phuong, please share again your slide. We cannot see your slide.
Như nào nhỉ? Display setting.
Good morning.
Okay. So I'd like to talk a bit about the incentive for investment in the high-tech park. The coverage is 10% for a period of 15 years. So for a big project, more than $130 million. So the 10% of CIT rate will be for 30 years. It's only in Da Nang City. In the Hoa Lạc, in Hanoi, it's about $170 million project. And in Ho Chi Minh City, it's about $260 million for project. Can enjoy the same investment incentive like this. The land rental will be extended for the whole project life of 50 years for manufacturing sector. And for 19 years, if you invest in fair, exhibition, supermarket, shopping mall, logistics, etc. And for 15 years, if you are developing and operation of infrastructures of the high-tech sector. And how you can locate your project in Da Nang High-Tech Park. So your project file will be evaluated by the High-Tech Management Board and the related departments of Da Nang City. The first, they will see at the technology and products of your project. The second, financial capacity of investor. The third is estimated turnover from high-tech product of the project. The next is automation level of technology of the project. The fifth is land use efficiency. And the last is impact on environment. If the project is high-tech, of course, we think that it's going to have no impact on environment. And you have to justify your solution to control the environment pollution. The timeline for project approval is the maximum is 22 working days. It takes about, you see, four weeks from the date of receiving project document. If your document is appropriate and no reviewing, no revision anymore. And how can you come to Da Nang City? You can come to Da Nang City by many ways. The first thing, you can fly to Da Nang City. Da Nang International Airport is one of the 3 biggest and busiest airports in Vietnam. And you can come to Da Nang by sea. Da Nang Tin Sao Port is the largest container port in central Vietnam. And you can also come to Da Nang by railway and by automobile. We have the highways from Da Nang to Dung Quất and from Da Nang to Huế is connected with the national highway. And if you have a time to see Da Nang High-Tech Park, you can see that the technical infrastructure is ready to meet the requirements of investor. The power supply, the water supply is available. The wastewater treatment is also conserved for the requirement of the investor. The telecommunication is very good, ready-built factory and office for lease also available now. And it's offered by Long Hậu High-Tech factory for SME. Yeah, you know that for the big company, you can lease the land. But for the small and medium enterprises, you can lease the ready-built factory. And Long Hậu has about 30 hectares of the land to set up the ready-built and build-to-suit factory here. Yeah, you can see some model of the factory ready-built by Long Hậu company. And it's a world standard, and I think that it's fits to the requirement of the small and medium-sized company. And many companies, they worry, they concern about the workforce, especially for the high-tech company. But if you look at the screen, you see that nearly 50% of the labor force in Da Nang city now is they are young and dynamic and diligent, hardworking, and they can adapt to the working environment very quickly. And you know that every year about more than 64,000 graduates from all kinds of training facilities like university and colleges, vocational centers, and secondary schools, etc. And one more thing I would like to talk about the workforce in Da Nang. The turnover rate is very low, less than 1%, according to the survey of Zetro from Japan. And the cost for the laborers is also reasonable. It's much lower than in Ho Chi Minh City and in Hanoi, and also in Haiphong. And if you think you should come to Da Nang not only for working, for investing, but also for living and for relaxing. So Da Nang has a good harmony between the sea, the beach, the river, the mountains, and the forest. There are no traffic jam, no flood, no typhoon, and we have affordable living costs. The living condition is very good. Only 50-minute ride to the airport, to the city center, to the beach. And we have available international schools at the secondary school, also the primary school and the kindergarten, as well as for the training facility like the university, the colleges. And we also have 3 golf courses. So please come to Da Nang and to enjoy what we have and what we can offer to you. So if you need more information, please contact with Da Nang Investment Promotion Agency. We call it IPA Da Nang. It's a one-stop shop agency to facilitate your investment into Da Nang City. And please send your questions or any inquiries to my email. Yeah, and we are very we are eager and we are ready to give you any feedback you like. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for your kind attention. Okay.
Thank you, Chị Phuong, for your great informative presentation. So
Thank you so much.
At least if I'm an investor, I know where to look for and which industry that I have an opportunity to get a member into a high-tech park. So for the next, okay, new investor may say, I like Vietnam, like Danang. So what's next? How can my investment qualify to be high-tech? Or how long does it take me to set up a plant and run a manufacturing? So let our next speaker unwrap the worries for you through the next presentation, Discovering New Investment Models and Implementation. Mr. Tâm Nguyen, an investment promotion manager from Long Ho Corporation, one of the leading industrial real estate developer and provider. So, anh Tâm.
Yes, thank you, Miss Heidi, Miss Huynh. And thank you, Miss Phuong. You introduced our projects in Danang High Tech Park. Very beautiful, and thank you, everybody. Hi, everyone. It's my pleasure to be a speaker and in this webinar and a representative of Long Ho Corporation, the owner of Long Ho Industrial Park in Long An Province. And also the investor of Credible Factory High-Tech for Leasing in Danang High-Tech Park. Before our presentation, one question: do you know the reason why we choose the topic? As you know, after the Tết holiday in Vietnam, we had to face a pandemic, COVID-19. It affects the world economy so much. And there are so many observations from experts, from the consultant company about a moving factory from China to the Southeast Asia country and Vietnam also. The trade war between USA and China and the EVFTA between Europe and Vietnam have just signed in August 2020. The factor pushed the investor from Europe, from USA, from Japan, and other countries who want to invest a project in Vietnam to reduce the risk and get the tax incentive, especially high-tech industry enterprise. And do you know when we approach the investors, what three questions are on we ask? Do you know? Yes. The first question: when we do the investment registration, what are procedures? The second, when we set up the factory, what are procedures? And the last, when we operate, what are procedures? So that is the reason why I give you three main contents in my presentation. The first one, procedure to set up high-tech manufacturing. The second one, 3 cases study from 2 tenants in Danang High-Tech Park. And the third one is the solution one-stop service from Long Ho Corporation. Everybody ready? Now let's talk the procedure to set up the high-tech manufacturing. Okay. You can see the slide. Please focus the column on your left-hand side. The procedure to set up the high-tech manufacturing, not only investment registration step, but also the investor need to know how to set up factory, how to operating. With investment registration, you must demonstrate your industry is high-tech industry and receive the approval of authority. In our experience, the investor should organize the visiting tour directly at their factory and get the confirmation of project suitable. 3 things important to increase opportunity of success. Please prepare the checklist requirement and keep the key people in the meeting at your side. We should be CEO or general director and at authority side should be the leader of high-tech park. If the investor no visiting tour, please make the detailed video that explain your technology in high-tech. Okay, continue. The key step to get the approval high-tech industry, that is how to fill in up the form application exactly. Actually, you cannot correct 100% at the first time when you apply document. In our experience, the wording is very important. It means how to write and filling up the form. And the relationship with authority is very important in this case. Okay, we back the column on your left hand side. Which other step, how to set up factory and how to operating may be easier than. However, the investor need to know which license application to build factory, like fire safety permit, environmental assessment, construction permit, and what service for operating to help investor control the cost and the timeline for the project. Okay, we will next slide. And then I will give you two cases study. One case study project about over 15 million US dollar and a project less than 15 million US dollar. A case study of the name of company Niwa Farai Vietnam. They founded in Japan in 1960. The purpose of investment in Vietnam, they supply to customer in Danang and Bình Dương and export to Thailand and Indonesia. They located in Danang High Tech Park, and the capital value maybe over 30 million US dollar. The industry manufacturing engine casting for hydraulic park and high precision mechanical park used for industrial machinery and agricultural machinery with their size over 3 hectares. You can see the timeline on the slide. From 2012, they came to Danang High Tech Park. Next year, in June 2013, they received the IRC and ERC. And next year, in April 2015, for constructing factory. And next year, in June 2016, officially operating. So what do we want to talk in this case? You try to look again the timeline. From the date the investor choose location to the date official operating, over 4 years, That is a so long time for a project. Do you know a reason why? Because one simple reason. The investor were working long, no service, no consulting. Even I have not mentioned that you miss out business opportunity when the project slow to implement. So the high-tech investor should consider timeline for projects is very important. Okay, I will change to next case study. That's the investor with small scale by 5,000 square meter ready factory for leasing in Danang High Tech Park. Inaba Rubber, they founded in Japan in 1963. They run in manufacturing in China and Hong Kong. The purpose of investing in Vietnam, they supply to customer in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City and expand the market to the Southeast Asia. Also, they located in Danang High Tech Park. The capital value just only 5 million US dollar. The industry, they manufacturing rubber part used for the electronic and precision engineering. With the size only 5,000 square meter for ready-built factory for leasing. When I will tell you a story. When they came to Long Hậu in Long Hậu Corporation, they asked us for a question. The question one, where to set up manufacturing. The second one, if the production qualified to be high-tech. The third, how to get IRC and ERC. And the last, is there a rental option for small size and quick setup? So, what respond with their question? Yes, no talk anymore. We have a successfully IPA investor who leads the factory 5,000 square meter in Danang High Tech Park. So the next slide, you can see the timeline of IPA investor from the deck. IPA came to Danang High Tech Park in 2019. They discussed with Long Hậu about investment process, and the next year in February 2020, we hand over the workshop for operating. Okay, what is the most important thing in this case? How do you think? You can look at the timeline of the project in IPA. Less than 1 year the debt discussion with Long Hậu to get handover factory and run manufacturing. We think that is the success key to support overseas enterprises invest in Vietnam. And the last slide, we would like to show you very shortly Long Hậu one-stop service solution. With the last project, the capital over 15 million US dollar. The investor will work directly with High Tech Park or third party and Long Hậu support full service. With small medium projects, capital less than 15 million US dollar, Long Hậu will give the solution ready-built factory for leasing combined full service. Okay. Finally, with our short presentation, hopefully we can support investor, discover new investment models and implementation. And thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Anton, for your informative sharing. So now I believe that our audience can learn more about some of the success case studies from your clients' position to set up a factory in High Tech Park look clearer now. And well, I believe that some of you can have some questions. So please type down the question into our chat box so we can come to you in the Q&A section later. And now we come to the real and successful case study in high-tech field from a technology leader and see how journey has been in Vietnam. Besides that, those investments not in the list of high-tech list, you may find the way to upgrade your production and to be, admitted into high-tech. I know a person who, has built a strong bond with emerging markets like Vietnam, and this August marked his 8th year in Vietnam with his family, and who's very passionate about driving transformation and making Vietnam, Bosch Vietnam is an innovation hub. So I'd like to introduce you Guru Mallikarjuna, Managing Director from Bosch Vietnam, with the presentation from a tech giant's view. Is Vietnam a suitable high-tech manufacturing location? Okay, over to you, Guru.
Thank you. Hope all of you can hear me. We want to all the participants, also well presented by my co-speakers. Let me present my slides. Just give me a minute.
Guru, please share your screen so people can see your presentation now.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, great.
Your slides?
Perfect.
Okay, so before I come into sharing the Bosch experience as a high-tech company since the last 12 years that we have been operating, give a quick overview about how Germany is investing in Vietnam. At a quick glance, you can see from the time the Vietnam was open for foreign direct investment, today we have got about 380 companies from Germany investing roughly about 2.7 billion US dollars, and they've created about 47,000 jobs. And we are proud to be one of that company here with creating about 4,000 plus jobs by Bosch Vietnam. What is important is German investors are always a long-term oriented. Once they come in, they would always like to stay longer and show a big interest in the development of not just the business, but also the local communities. And we always find Vietnam as an attractive investment location. And we expect we're going to continue to invest more in the high quality because that's what Germany is well known for. And we would also have been encouraged with the recent EVFTA agreement that we have signed between Europe and Vietnam. Just to give a quick glance of manufacturing footprint investment coming from Germany to Vietnam, you can see there are 69 manufacturing plants, which is varying from different domains like apparel, chemicals, automotive, where Bosch comes from, also in the consumer goods, electronics, metal processing, and various industry. So it clearly shows the commitment from Germany in terms of investment towards Vietnam. And if you pick up the top three investors in terms from a charter capital, Bosch is one of the top investors from Germany, followed by Messer and B. Braun. So you see there is a clear, again, investment that is coming up. And maybe now I can go a little bit more into details about what Bosch Vietnam has been doing since last 10 years and what's been our experience being a high-tech company. So Bosch Vietnam activities are actually in 4 different applications. One is on the production, which I would focus on later. We also have R&D centers. Ms. Phuong already mentioned to have an high-tech status, we also have to exist in R&D as well. So that's why you see one of the R&D center, automotive R&D center was invested mainly to support the plant. And in addition to that, we also have a software engineering center here, both contributing to more than 2,100 jobs here. And then service centers mainly focusing on internal to Bosch, as well as local sales offices. So where we work on and contribute and bring in high-tech products into the local market. So overall, 4,300 associates as of July 31st, and largely located in the south of Vietnam. So how are we contributing in terms of high-tech, which is, I would say, is the most key for success? One, we are looking at on developing the high-tech in terms of skilled labor force. We are investing both in terms of vocational training as well as higher education. We all know that when the labor force comes out of schools, colleges, universities, they're not really ready for the industry. And that's where vocational training and further collaboration with the industry makes a difference to bring up the skilled labor force. And also we are implementing digitalization in our factories across the globe, also in our own plant here as well in Vietnam, because digitalization is something that's going to make a big difference in the future. And the last, clearly on the research and development activities, like on both on the software development as well as on automotive related development activities are done in Vietnam. And we are not just doing it for Vietnam, but also we are providing our services and solutions across the globe. So that shows the capability of Vietnam associates that they can deliver in par with our engineers also coming from the Europe. What else we are doing? We are also trying to build up ecosystem. We are trying to see how we can cooperate with the local SMEs and suppliers. We also look for some public-private partnerships, which I'll show you a little later what we do. And as well as on the local community, we contribute on through our CSR and many other engagements. We work with the local community. So what we're doing in terms of skilled workforce, there are different types of cooperation. We have our own vocational training center, which is a dual certified training center working with AHK to provide a German certification, and Lilama 2 in the local school in Danang, in Dong Nai, in offering the local certificate. So it's a dual certificate course running for 3.5 years, and every batch have got students between 24 to 26 graduates are passing out, and we have until we got 4 generation of these apprentices being trained within our Bosch training center. Second one was we had an MOU between Bosch Vietnam, Lilama 2, DVET, as well as GSZ, where we cooperating together to set up integrating Industry 4.0 into education, because we believe that's the future, and that's how we should, develop the local labor force. And the last one, we also working with SCMUT, one of the local universities, to build AI competency, because artificial intelligence is going to be the key if you're talking about high technology and connectivity in the future, to cater to Bosch needs, as well as we can also develop these knowledge even for the industry in Vietnam. This is our plant. Just to give a quick overview of what we have invested. It's in Dong Nai. It started in 2008. Has got overall location size of 160,000 square meter with built-up area of about close to 70,000 square meter. And where we produce one of the high-tech products. It's a push belt used for automotive application, and we are manufacturing this push belt and sending out to various countries, up to 4 countries across the global level. So that shows that it's really we are able to build up a high-tech capabilities over the years, and our local associates, local employees are able to learn quickly and able to adapt to the knowledge and to the tools and methods that is needed to deliver such a complex product from this market. And what else is needed to be staying high tech? It's also important about, as already said, R&D center, which was set up here. It's called Bosch Automotive R&D Center in 2014, when we had this high tech plant certification coming to us, where we actually provide R&D facilities for developing concept and also developing applications around various car applications, components. On the right-hand side, you see that there's a software R&D center focusing on digital solutions and IT solutions, looking at domains like automotive, manufacturing, and high-tech. So that's been our journey in the last 10 years, where we continue to invest on both on technology as well as on the skilled labor force. What else are it's also important for us to know how technology can transform the manufacturing, right? That's very important, because it's not just enough to come and invest, but also to look at to deploy technology and its application in the plants. I mean, that's a way to go and apply and look for high-tech status in the local market. And Bosch has been both on the leading user, because we have got about more than 280 plants across the world. So we are actually the leading user of this technology, as well as we provide these solutions also to the customers with about 70 plus solutions. And what we do, we actually work with end-to-end transparencies provided with this manufacturing process, where we facilitate optimized decision making, where Industry 4.0 can bring in new ways of creating value and business models. In particular, it will provide startups and small businesses with opportunity to develop and provide downstream services. And how it's going to happen, artificial intelligence is going to become the essential component of the factory of the future, and decisions are going to be made using the people creativity and as well as the artificial intelligence. And that's how we see it's going to transform the way we manufacture our products in the future. On the connected factory, if you see it, what it makes things more easier, because we can start accessing all data in the manufacturing process through your mobile, through web, through any kind of connectivity process, where because we start connecting every device, every product that is part of this whole manufacturing process to be able to see the whole process of from supply till the delivery. And this is going to make the entire factory into paperless in the future. So just to give additional benefits of what you can expect of such a Industry 4.0 application is that we can start making a product to become more and more tailored to meet individual customer requirements. So you don't have to really go into the big volume, big manufacturing setups, but you can actually start doing more and more tailored products using this digital twin concept. And what it means, robots will start taking heavy and repetitive and highly standardized tasks, whereas people can start focusing on where human skills are required in terms of creativity, IT expertise, and process optimization. So overall, I believe the Factory of the Future is going to be highly productive, and productivity is going to be the key differentiator to stay ahead. If Vietnam wants to be have to have an aspiration to become one of the industrialized country, the digitalization is going to achieve it. So technology, IoT is going to transform manufacturing, and it is important for all of us to embrace this at the soonest. The journey towards implementing Industry 4.0 will involve evolutionary process that will progress at different rates at individual companies and sectors. So I hope my last few minutes were useful to understand our own journey and also how technology is transforming the manufacturing process, making it more productive and more efficient. Thanks so much. Can you hear me still? You're muted.
Yes, thank you, Guru, for your intriguing presentation. So many suppliers, local suppliers and local producers, they wanted to ask you how they can upgrade themselves to be a high-tech producer and really want to join Bosch ecosystem, current ecosystem. But let's put them into our Q&A section. So, well, to our panel today, and let's pass a favorite section. Okay. Here I have. Yes. So I'm going to make a statement and maybe provocative for our discussion. And each of our Guru and Phuong, you can agree or disagree. So you have 3 seconds. So, well, I turn on video. Speaker.
Agree.
Yes.
I agree. I agree for the first question.
Okay, is it too soon to say Vietnam ready for a high-tech country?
I disagree.
I disagree.
I disagree about that.
I disagree also.
Guru?
So just to give a little bit of contradiction, I think I agree. We still need a little bit of preparations, which we can discuss in the later phase. Why I think different.
Yeah, that's the thing that I like to ask you. Phuong, how about your opinion? You see it?
You know, Vietnam has attracted investment, foreign direct investment for more than 30 years. It means that we have experience in how to manage the company, the enterprises, and our labor force is already to adapt to the new working environment. We have a skill now, and now we are trained well. So our soft skill as well as the language is better than 30 years before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that for the labor force, it's very good for Vietnam now to be a place especially for high-tech manufacturing destination. And the company is especially for the Europe company and the US company and the Asian company that should come to Vietnam and to Danang to experience what we have now. And secondly, for the infrastructure of Vietnam now is much better than before. Yeah, we have industrial parks, we have high-tech park, and also we have the economic zones. So every place is ready with the infrastructure, with the good infrastructure. So we can meet the requirements of the companies, especially for the technological companies like Bosch, for example. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So, Guru, you can hear from Chị Phuong sharing. You said that Vietnam is ready. How about you? How do you see things differently? Just now you mentioned that we need more preparation.
Yeah, so I think I've been here, you already mentioned 7 years, and I definitely agree with Ms. Phuong what she said. There is an improvement in both in terms of the quality of labor force, the infrastructure, it comes of even in soft skills and then communication. There is definitely, I see an improvement. I think the speed of this change must be much more faster. While we are competitive in terms of labor costs, productivity has to be something we need to focus on. Because we are competing with countries which are probably much more advanced to us. And if you really want to attract, we need to show not just only the competitive labor cost, but also how productive we are. And the productivity comes from a skilled labor force. They must know how to manage the high-tech equipments. They must be trained to manage the software in the digital world. And that's where we need to put more investment. And if you see why Bosch is investing in either in engaging in vocational or in the higher education, it's because we know that that's the key to make the successful investment and also successful outcome. So that's something we need to speed up more and intensify our focus on developing this kind of a highly skilled workforce. Second, if you talk about FTAs, is something is definitely encouraging, where we have quite a lot of FTAs from Vietnam, and recently we are also now going live with EV FTA. But again, this also sets certain expectations in terms of how quickly we make everything more transparent, how it's going to become more predictable, all the process and guidelines is going to come up. So while we are taking up right actions in terms of making this country more attractive, it's also very important how we implement, and how the speed of implementation is also the key to make this into a big success.
Great, thank you. Thanks for your perspective. So we will come to the next statement. It is not easy for an electronics manufacturer to enter electronics small and medium size SME1 to enter and enjoy being in high-tech park. It's not easy. Agree? Disagree?
I disagree.
Okay, disagree from Long Hậu Corporation.
Yeah.
Please hold on, please. Before the other two answer. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we are talking about high-tech industry. Does it mean the investor only demonstrate the industry in high-tech industry? Enough for getting the tax incentive. So I mean, not different whether you are a big or small investor, whether your capital over 15 million or less than 15 million US dollar, on situation are the same. In Danang High-Tech Park, we also provide two options for the investor. Industrial land for big investor. The project over 15 million US dollar. And the ready-built factory high-tech for SME manufacturer. So I disagree with this situation and this question.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, interesting. How about the other two?
Yeah, I also go with what he said, because I don't think the size of the company matters. Really, the technology that you use, what matters, to qualify into a high tech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. So now we will have more time for our prepared questions that we have just received from our audience, from our participants. And first, I'd like to address one. Yes, number one, what's worth noting about Vietnam's potential as a high-tech manufacturing destination? Yeah, what's worth noting about Vietnam's potential as a high-tech manufacturing destination? Okay, Phuong, can you share your opinion on that?
So as I talked before, so I think that the first is skill, the skill, the qualifying and skillful, qualifying and young, dynamic labor force. And the second is infrastructure. The third is investment incentive. So I think it's the three key points to make Vietnam as the high-tech manufacturing destination in Asia.
Thank you. Guru, anything you'd like to add up?
I think the only other point I also mentioned before is the free trade agreements. That is going to definitely help in making the system here also getting more global system. So I expect that to encourage more flow of investment coming to Vietnam. And an additional point is everybody looking for diversification, with China being the one location manufacturing, and during COVID, we saw that was really having impact to the global manufacturing setup. So companies are looking at the next location, next best location, and I think Vietnam has got the benefits, both in terms of its geographical presence as well as its demography in terms of labor.
Thank you. Then we go to the second question. Are there ways to upgrade a production plant from low normal tech to high tech? A case study showing. Are there ways to upgrade a production plant from low normal tech to high tech? A case study showing. So, Guru?
Yeah, maybe to just to share, many companies who are possibly in industry 2.0 stage have now looking for how to make themselves upgrade towards industry 4.0. It's not a quick fix. It's going to take a little bit of time, but definitely adopting the industry 4.0 digital applications into the industry can make them become more high tech, because it's going to bring all the high-tech application connectivity and make this plant become more and more productive and efficient. And also we should look at the kind of product that is being produced, because currently I understand high-tech incentive is given to a entity or to a product. So I'm sure majority of the production plants, if they can apply high-tech, they can go for high-tech incentive for the whole entity.
Yeah. Thank you. How do you see it differently, Chị Phương?
In my opinion, a production plant is a low tech or the high tech depending on the production strategy of the manufacturer. For example, in Vietnam, at the moment, the supporting industry in Vietnam is not good enough. So that's why recently the Prime Minister already issued the resolution 115 to find out the effective solution to how to set up, how to change how to upgrade the quality of supporting industry in Vietnam. So I think that this question is worth thinking for the company of Vietnam, mostly the company in Vietnam, especially for the small and medium-sized enterprises, how to upgrade their technology to take part in the supply chain of the technology company, especially for the FDI. So I think the first is they just think about how they can upgrade how they can get the loan from the bank or from the fund to upgrade the technology, how to train their staff, to train the labor force to meet with the new level of technology. And of course, they have to understand the procedure or the standard of the world so that they can join in the supply chain of that. I don't think that they can be the first or the second supplier tier, but maybe lesser, but more and more of them can join in the supply chain for that. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
so now from my understanding that local, SME producer, they have a chance from the government, the Decree 115, just now you mentioned. And
Yeah.
then we have the technology provider like Bosch Vietnam. They can help,
Yeah.
producer with their production line. Yeah, right. So I have to have a question because we have more questions coming in from our audience. Besides providing infrastructure to attract more high-tech manufacturers, what are additional factors to attract more high-tech manufacturers? So, Anton from
Thank you, Ms. Huynh. Actually, in Long Hậu Corporation, we have provided the infrastructure and ready-built factory Long Hậu Industrial Park already with scale about over 60,000 square meter ready-built factory for leasing. At the present, the rate occupied over 95%. So we believe we have enough experience, understand the inside customer, understand their industry, understand the requirement. To us, not only provided infrastructure, but also the quality of factory is very important because it helps investor can operating quickly, very quickly, and no need renovation anymore. And full service must be corresponded to the investment stake. So full service will be the factor attract more high-tech manufacturer in this time and in the future. Okay.
Thank you, Anton. And question number 4. Okay, this is a question from some of the local producers. I'd like to ask Guru from Bosch Vietnam. What is the current climate of your local SMEs and suppliers? Any challenges and opportunities? Guru?
Yeah, our experience has been in the high-tech manufacturing that most of the SMEs who are supplying as a supplier for the FDI, for the high-tech are actually as the FDI, not very much local. We see that quite a bit of local suppliers are operating in mechanical precision, plastic injection, and some are in the PCB assembly in electronics. But in the high-tech material fields, I still find quite a bit of SMEs are actually FDI. What I see as a challenge is, before I come to the opportunity, is that when we do talk with these local or SMEs, I still find certain times the communication, their maturity in terms of offering their solutions is still something has to be focused on and strengthened. Sometimes the local suppliers are not necessarily one-stop solution. We'll have to go with multiple suppliers to get one solution. So we need to look at how they can become more and more one-stop, so it's much more attractive. And also in terms of pricing, when it comes to the being competitive with the international suppliers, also something they need to look for, because they still import their material also from overseas, so that can make it difficult. But from an opportunity perspective, I see from the local suppliers that quite a lot of localization happening in terms of automotive. We see quite a bit e-scooters, for example, happening locally, being manufactured, home appliances, mobile components. I see there are opportunities for people to come in and be, with this kind of industry, to be a supplier. Obviously, competitive labor costs and young workforce can make definitely a difference to be able to more competitive. Also, local suppliers, we can see them, they're more flexible in terms of to provide a mixed high volume and low volume demand, which is not necessarily possible with international ones. Also, we see this with more and more signatories coming at FTAs. They could also look at exporting, not just only internal consumption. They can even export to other ASEAN countries. So I feel there are definitely opportunities for SMEs and suppliers to develop, but also they need to overcome the challenges which I mentioned already.
Interesting. Guru, just now you mentioned about our, your suppliers, both local and FDI, and there's one of the questions from our participant is that okay for Bosch Vietnam, which risks do many FDI investors often face up most when they invest in Vietnam? And any recommendation to IPA, to deal with risk? Yeah,
I think at the beginning when we came in, it was never clear how the investments are protected, as well as the investment laws and tax laws were always certain times not aligned with each other. And over the time, a lot of these are being fixed, I would say, and it's still an evolving process. And what I like about the local ecosystem is that the government is open to hear us out. They're ready to listen to the investors, local organizations to give feedback, and they're also trying to adopt into their policies and guidelines coming up in the future. But definitely, it is an evolving system, and not everything is readily available. So we are learning together. So we had challenges, but it's getting better. And I only look at these FTAs that is coming up in the future will make it faster and better as well for the organizations.
Wow, interesting. I love the idea that we're learning together. Yeah, both the governmental agency and the investor themselves, because they're in Vietnam. Actually, I think Chị Phuong from IPA, do you want something to share with us?
I think that, IPA is the one-stop shop service, is the first place where the investor should come when they come to a new place. Particularly when they come to Danang, please come to Danang IPA. And I hope that both have a chance to visit Danang to see what IPA Danang can offer to you. And I think it's a good experience. And you can share this with your partners, your customer, and to tell them about the story of Danang. I think so.
Will do.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, interesting. And then the last question. Okay, Anton. As you mentioned, long-haul one-stop solution. Your slide shows that the project with less than 15 million USD may not need the approval from
Yeah.
Danang High-Tech Management Board.
Yeah. Okay. We are talking about two cases about the projects over 15 million US dollar and less than 15 million US dollar for a project. Actually, when you invest, when the investor invest in Danang High-Tech Park on all projects, have to get the approval from Danang High-Tech Park Management Board. We are talking about a big investor. If the investor want to lease the land and build a factory themselves, and the capital over 15 million US dollar, you can sign the contract and working directly with Danang High-Tech Park. If your investor scale is less than 15 million US dollar, and the investor want to lease the ready-built factory with scale small, about less than 5,000 square meter, they can lease the ready-built factory high-tech of Long Hậu. So on all projects in Danang High-Tech Park, you have to get approval from Danang High-Tech Park.
Okay, clear now.
Correct, Ms. Phuong, correct. Is it correct?
Okay. For any project that you want to get admitted into High-Tech Park, either you work directly or you through, like a service provider like Industrial Park. The final decision maker is the management board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So we're getting close to the end of our time today. If there is one thing you would like to share with our audience today to conclude this section, what would it be?
Yeah, I think my sentence was saying is that please come to Danang. Danang is an ideal place for living, for working, and of course for investing. You are always welcome.
And thank you for the Long Hậu Corporation.
To us, I have some opportunity to Danang city. Actually, in my mind, I love Danang city. I love everybody in Danang city. I think this is a friendly environment investment for the foreign investor. Welcome, Danang.
Yes. And Guru, I hope that you can have a message more related to our theme today in Vietnam High-Tech. We go to destination. Yes.
Yeah. Your voice was breaking. I couldn't get you what you said. But if I have to make a final statement, I think for Bosch, we do from 0 to 4,500 employees with 350 million US dollar investment. That shows the success story of this country and what people have delivered with such a high-tech product. So I can only say it's a great country to have such investment opinions, and I'm sure we will continue to develop much better ecosystem to support every investor here.
Thank you. Thank you, our speakers today. Everyone.